the session we're going to work on today is about controlled possession. So when we have the ball and we're looking at getting the ball through our line, so from our defense to our midfield to our forward players. So we're going to be setting up and looking to playing out from the back, also playing from halfway into the box. So it's looking at playing through those lines instead of skipping lines and playing direct. Again, we're going to be working on a lot of angles, and how do we train that is how we're going to be talking through this basis. So, set up for training. As you can see, I've got my grids. We're using half a field. I have grids set up, so we'll use our dots, and we might have cones on the sides to indicate, but we'll have dots in these areas to show these grids. Now, these grids are important for future reference, so they need to be displayed, and like I said, we want to use flat discs or dots, so if the ball travels over it, it doesn't impact the ball. So we set up our grid, so we got, excuse me, we've got a defensive grid here, we've got our midfield, and we have our forwards, and same on the opposite side. So for the yellow team, defense area, midfields are in this channel, and our attackers are in this channel. Now they can go anywhere in their channels, and we set their bibs up straight off the bat so we can just tell a player to go there. So here's the setup. Bibs are down in these places, and we're ready to go. Now, for our 9-a-side teams, can still use the same setup and same concept. This is set up for 20 players, so our 16 players and our 4 reserves. So this is for 20. We've just taken out our 2 10s for 20. Now for our 9-a-side, we have 13 players and 4, so we have 17 players. We're going to take out a centre back from each side because our formation is a 3-2-3. And we will take out the goalkeeper, the one at halfway. So that will be our 17. So that's our setup for our 9-a-side. All right, so just remember that, but we'll go on through talking about if we are playing 11-a-side. So that's our setup. Now, our passing practice. So introducing this. So each team have a ball, and all we're instructing the players is they have to stay in their channels. Don't worry about these lines yet. They have to stay in their channel. So defense and blue attack can only stay in this area. Midfield from both teams can only stay in this channel. And the blue defense and the yellow attackers can only stay in this area. All we're instructing the players to do is, at the same time, don't worry about the opposite ball. Yellows, move your ball around. Let's get about 3 passes in this corridor before we move to the next channel. Same thing, can we get a couple of passes before we move to the strikers? Now, as soon as that ball comes into this area, if we're available, can we just have a shot towards goal? Or lay a pass and have a shot. So what we want to instruct our players, as soon as it gets in this area into here, can we quickly get a shot off towards the goal. Same with the blue. So they're moving the ball. As soon as it gets into this area, can we quickly either lay the ball off or have a quick shot? So that's our passing practice, and then we can start now building on it. So as soon as they get through here, gets to here, has a shot. As soon as they're having a shot, our goalkeeper will pick up another ball from the back line and do the same thing again. So as soon as it gets in here, we start with a new ball. Same thing, and we let them go. Let them go, let them go, let them go. All right, let's get them moving. Let's get them around their positions and concentrating. So they'll naturally have to move to open up passing channels. So now we start introducing. So we want to start introducing angles. So we want to really start opening our body. All right, first one is we want to be able to see most of the field. All right, so instructing our players, can we see majority of the field? All right, so instead of receiving the ball like this, facing our own goal, can we open our body so we can see the full field? Now, this is where these channels come into play. Right? We want to instruct our players, one, to not be in the same box, to crowd the player. Right? And two, not be in the same box straight ahead. So we don't want to be straight ahead because to receive that ball there, my back is to where I want to go. Right? We want to start working on getting on angles. So angles will naturally mean that player opens up their body. Again, we don't want two players in the same square, so they might have to pull out all the way out to here, which will start isolating defenders. And if defenders eventually in a game want to do this, we got balls, when he stops falling off the field, we got balls into here, into pockets of space. Alright, so again, we want to start instructing our players not to be front on, to be opened up on angles. Again, ball comes into here, we need movement, and we need movement out of the square. So again, two players, we don't want to be in the same square of the same team, but now we don't want to be in the next square up from our teammate. Again, let them play, let them play, let them play. Again, they're trying to shift that ball. We're not worried about defending yet. We're trying to shift that ball through the lines. As soon as you get into here, shoot. Again, reload the ball. But now we're focusing on that movement. Ball comes into here. He's in the same channel. Can he open up? Now this one's in the same channel. Can they now create space away? All right, let them play. Let them play. All right, go through that a few times. Now the last one might be, we start a little bit of pressure now. All right, not full tackling, but we want to now start, so they've got to keep an eye on this ball. All right, but can we just put a little bit of pressure and see if we can block some passes? All right, so if they can block that pass, all right, see if we can start playing around players who are actively trying to just block passing lanes now. All right, so again, he might be blocking this passing lane into here. This one has to move. All right, we're not actively defending, but we're now just causing a bit more of an issue trying to block passing lanes. Ball might come out here. He has to move. All right, we can play in through. All right, so that's that. That's our passing practice. That's our warm-up. All right, all the players are moving. Same thing when we take out the players for niner side. All right, just getting that ball between channels, making sure we're not in a straight line, making sure we're opening our body. All right, now we're going to move into more of our game training phase, is where we are removing one ball. All right, so now we have active defenders. All right, so we're building up now. Players are warm. We now have active defenders. So now ball will start on this end. Players are still not allowed to leave their channels. All right, so midfield must stay in here. Attackers and opposite defenders must stay in their respective areas. All right, so now we're looking to play. Yellow's looking to close down, win the ball, looking to shoot. Blue is looking to play. There's no minimum passes that they need now before they play through the lines. Now, only restriction we say is obviously they have to stay in their positions, but another restriction is they cannot skip a channel. So they have to play through our midfield, which means midfield must be opening up and movement to receive that ball from these players trying to actively stop. All right, we let them play for a bit, and some of our coaching points would be on our positioning. All right, if we're static positioning, which means we can't, when we're not moving, is an issue, as we'll just get marked up, and then this player has nowhere to go. All right, so we will talk about our players' movement, all right, and then also support around the ball. So if this player comes in, can we play into here? Can we look to receive the ball on the run into the next square? Again, we don't want to be caught straight lines. Right, so a couple of coaching points is not to be caught straight line. Right, into here, where it's easy to defend, and we don't want to definitely do blind turns. We don't want to be blind turning. Right, so we want to be on angles and play angles. Right, when that ball shifts through, again, same concept all over the field. We don't want to be caught straight, we want to be on angles. Right, and show angles. Right, only way you'll play a straight ball is for a diagonal run. Right, so yes, you can play the ball into there, into the space. We don't want to be standing there. As soon as we're standing there, we're marked up, we're here, 9 times out of 10, players will turn blind and get tackled. Alright, so working on the angles, that's our main coaching point for this session. Alright, again, yellow win the ball, looking to do the same thing. Ball goes out, it's either yellow ball or blue ball to start again. Alright, and the process keeps going. Alright, the next evolution of that is players are allowed, when that ball comes into here, if they're opened, he's blocking the next pass, he's blocking here, he's moved out wide. Alright, we see now another reason why we don't want to be here and draw players. Alright, because now our player is free, he's blocking this pass here, he's free to take that ball into the midfield now. So that's what we're going to instruct our players to do. Alright, so the next step is, if we are free and the next line is opened, can we drive with the ball across into the next channel? Defenders cannot follow. Alright, so this will now open it up of overloading. So now we've got a 3v2 in this channel. Alright, and then now we can start helping out our attackers as well. Alright, so this player comes in here, we look to play, or if they want to block off the pass, we can keep going. Alright, so now we're instructing our players. If we are open, can we drive across the line? We can start giving player instructions of, if we can draw the opposite winger in, can we play it wide for our player to drive across? We naturally want we don't want our player in the next corridor up. So coming on angles, this player then has a decision, do I go ball, do I stay with my player? It might allow my wing back all the way through into the attacking half. Same on the opposite side. If anything, more relevant to the opposite side is now attacking the box. Can we draw the opposite winger in to play, to drive forward? We're showing on angles. And hopefully will allow either an isolated 1v1 in the attacking area, or we can play in on angles in here, little 1-2s around players. Alright, if he comes in here, little 1-2 into the spaces. Alright, so we want these players, as soon as we get into here, to cross those balls in. Alright, so that's what we're looking for. But main important thing is looking now to drive into the space and start overloading these areas. Same thing, if we get the ball in midfield and we're free and available, alright, if we draw players out, can we take that ball across the line and support the attack now? So, angles, player tasks, player challenges would be to support on these angles, and if we are available, to take that ball over the next line. Alright, we're looking to play feet, in short, in behind. In short, into feet. Now, there's no spaces to play these through balls, so we want to start looking to play feet a lot more. The through balls we are looking to play will come from 1-2s into these spaces out wide, from midfield or driving forward 1-2 for our wing backs to attack. So again, if we can't go forward, we keep the ball. So we keep the ball. If we can't go forward, there's no options at all. We look to play back to drive through, or we look to switch it out until we can go forward again. All right, and then isolate 1v1s. All right, if we can isolate a 1v1 in these areas, we're looking to beat our defender to get crosses in. All right, last part of training would just be have these areas at the same, but we take the full restrictions out. Hopefully, we then have players that are still in those channels, in those pockets of space, moving around. So the outcome we want to see is players getting on angles, players not being in the same corridor, which will attract defenders, which will make this player stop moving forward. He can't dribble anymore. But by being on an angle, we've got a 2v1 now. This player doesn't know whether to go to the ball and lose that player, or does he stay that player and then we can attack the space. All right, so there are outcomes we want to see at the game at the end. Again, grids will stay. We don't then have restrictions. We just let them play. All right, and that is our session on how to break down oppositions, being on angles, and looking to overload in certain areas of the field. So hopefully that helps and you have favourable outcomes in your training sessions.